What's up, y'all? I'm Ziza.
I'm Dorian.
And this is DZ Linqs.
Welcome back to those of y'all who've been here before with us. Welcome to the newcomers. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss future shows. And let's get right into it. Today we are discussing relationships. Nope. Oh, self-love. That's what we're discussing. That was last week, y'all. I'm sorry if y'all missed it. Go back and watch that because obviously I was still there. But first, before you do that, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss the future shows and have to go back again. So now
hit the notification too.
Yes, notifications. Turn those on because if you like me, I'm bad about turning those guys on. But turn those on. But today we are discussing self-love. So, because that's the topic I feel like I discuss the most with my clients too, because that is the beginning of all of the healing, everything. You can't treat people better, you can't understand people, you can't do any of the things if you don't start with self-love.
Right, because you can't even be in a relationship because you don't even know how to tell people how to love you. Or teach
love them,
people,
right? Or show them like this is how you, right? So I don't know. And the topic itself for self-love though is kind of interesting because it's not one way that you teach somebody to practice self-love. Like I always tell people, it's different for everybody because it's not gonna. Love doesn't look the same for everybody, depending on your love language. You know. So I tell people the way that I tell them is I tell them to date themselves a lot of the time. If you know that you want your partner to have your bathwater run and you want them to make you tea or stuff like that, then do it for yourself, especially until they get there. But you'll already be in this pattern and you will know what you expect and how it feels, and you'll know immediately when you're not receiving the treatment that you.
And then then you'll know how to communicate what you need instead of just like, you ain't doing it right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No, I like this.
Or I hate to be told I'm not doing something right, but you can't tell me I do it correctly. It's like a literal pet peeve for me.
Right, and that's normally the basis for most relationship downfalls, not just romantic. It's just because you don't know yourself, and then you get triggered all over the place, and you don't even know how to tell people what you want. Right. And sometimes self-love is just simply honoring your boundaries.
Yeah, and you have a tendency to respond to things differently when you are in a space of love too, because then you have to think about the consequences of everything, of your actions and stuff first of all, and then it takes it to another level when you're genuinely loving yourself and you can see other people as an extension of yourself. So that also helps you to not go upside somebody's head.
Instead of using people for your happiness, for your love, and that's ass backwards. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because people, if you don't know you again, how you expect somebody else to know you and love you and treat you when you treat yourself like shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's only, like she said, it's an extension of you. So not to say that you can't be loved if you still learning to love yourself, but it's just
learning though. Right. You definitely want to start the process. You don't want to just jump out here. You need to love me for my flaws. Like I have a family member like that, and I won't say which one it is, but they are very much like, I'm not changing. You love me for what I am and all of these many flaws, and I'm like, you're gonna continue to attract the wrong person and continue to be miserable, and then because you don't love you,
and then you're gonna continue to repel me or procare, whatever the word is, because I'm loving me. So you that you are the unhealed you is crossing my boundaries all day long. So then
it's just it's uncomfortable. So I would say when you start your journey healing, I always recommend starting with self-love. Even if that self-love looks like for me, my self-love looks like inner child healing, because a lot of the flaws and faults that I had as an adult derived from those issues that I had as a child, or not feeling like I was receiving all of the things that I did. So I didn't get as much attention as I wanted as a kid. So as an adult, it was like, hey, you, look at me right now.
Somebody asked me what would be what I think would be the first place to start your inner child healing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't pinpoint all the things that happen, even when you start growing yourself up and doing the things that you used to do or were told not to do, as a child, but you knew it was a part of you, and going back and get some of that stuff sometimes. That's a great start.
Yeah, for sure. I was distracted. My cat walked by and distracted us. Butterfly. Oh, but yeah, cause I didn't know if his badass was gonna jump up here again.
Right. From time to time, we might have visitors, so if we see if
whether it be
look off
or fuzzy
or look down
or ghost, it's gonna be some visitors at some point. Anyway, back to the show.
Right.
Of self-love. Yeah, so inner child work was definitely a big deal for me to start there, and then it helped me realize some of my ways. Like, I was not a very good girlfriend in relationships, and I realized a lot of it had to do with, like, of course I'm taking the blame for myself, but a lot of it still stemmed from issues that I had as a child, and so I had to understand that part of me to address it in my adult life. And it sounds like something you see in the movies, but it's not. Like, it's real shit. It's real shit. Like that part in Drop Dead Fred. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that. Like, I'm telling my age now, but that part in Drop Dead Fred where she goes and like unbounds her little self from the bed and hugs herself and basically is like, it's okay. And then in her adult life, she was able to leave her shitty relationship and not let her mom control her. Like, it's the same thing. Like, her going back to, free herself, and it was a physical thing in the movie, but it was a emotional, mental, and spiritual thing for those of us who know what to look for. And it's so funny that I was attracted to all these movies as a child, and then it made sense as an adult, like Practical Magic and Halloween Town and all of these things.
It was like Princess something, but it was about a little girl who her dad was blind, or he got into some type of accident and she had to go stay in this orphanage or something, whatever. So her and the girl, they like had to create this imaginary place to survive or whatever. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, there's not many movies I haven't seen. That's not one that
It was really good.
Yeah, you should probably look that up so we can watch it. Definitely, and that's another thing that we plan to have some trips that's coming up, so y'all will be able to go out and do things with us. Or a meet and greet might be nice at some point too, though. Back to the subject at hand, like we completely veered off.
What does specifically your inner child work look like?
It's different all the time. So a lot of it, I would say, started with my daughter because she looks and acts just like me. So sometimes me loving on her is of course loving on her, but it's like a visual representation of me loving on the little person that I was. It also looks like me doing things that make me happy as a child. Like I used to like to paint when I was little, and I completely forgot about that. And then now, like when I'm being more creative, it makes me happy again. And just like all of the things that I would have wanted to do, the music that I would have liked to listen to or did listen to then, those things are good places for people to start. Cartoons that I liked when I was little.
Get up on Saturday morning, get a bowl of cereal, and just watch cartoons.
Almond milk or something. Don't. We ain't trying
to eat something.
Don't say Dorian and Ziza told you to go out and eat a whole bowl, and then you calling us because your stomach doing things. Don't blame us.
And then I even need to even say that, because when I say a bowl, I mean a bag with cereal with no milk on it. Because I don't drink milk.
Yeah.
I've never liked milk.
I've never liked milk, but I love ice cream. Look, so my stepdad, when we were kids, we would have to drink the milk out of the cereal, which I still to this day think is fucking disgusting. All that spit, you know, to y'all if that's what y'all do, but I personally think it's full of fucking spit. And he would make us drink that milk. So when I was a kid, I would pour this much milk in the bowl before the cereal. And I know y'all gonna say I'm psycho because I've heard people have discussion, but I still to this day do this. I poured this much milk in the cereal, just enough to freaking splash my cereal because I didn't want to drink it. It was nasty.
But now as an adult, you saving some money.
Yeah, I'm saving money now. And my poor sister, she used to try to like help me out. She would like, me and my brother would give my sister our milk. That's why she grew up to be stronger than us. If something ever happened, I'm calling my sister, my little sister. I'm the oldest of
sis.
All of the Sissy. She's a Gemini too, by the way, and so is my kid.
Oh.
It's a whole bunch of us. What does your self like? Okay. First of all, what is your inner child work? What did it look like?
My inner child work. Well, I do childish things all the time.
Yeah.
So it was more so going back and realizing the things that I didn't get or all those things. So if it was attention, I didn't feel love, I make sure to turn that back and just try to love on myself more. And through mirror work and stuff like that, because most of the things that I do is creative and just when I'm not creative, I know when I'm going outside of myself. So
yeah, starting time to ground and stuff. Yeah, I wasn't always
a random ass cartwheel.
Yes. I did that yesterday. I took my kids to the jump place and I was in there with them and then I couldn't get my big ass out of it because it was so much foam and I was working out my legs my legs still hurt so bad. It was so much fun.
Walking and quit saying
I know it was so bad, but it was fun. I was glad that I went. But okay, now what does your self-love work look like?
Self-love work is mostly me making sure I stay grounded, and the way I do that is either just going and sitting in the sun or meditating or just sitting, just being, you know what I'm saying, and kind of monitoring my thoughts, because most of the time when I'm not in that place, it's because I done picked up so much other people's stuff. So I make sure to clean myself, and then make sure I honor my emotions and stuff like that, because as a child, of course, you're always taught don't be like
our time. Yeah.
So
now we weren't allowed to feel. We weren't. Don't talk back to me. Don't disagree with me. That's disrespectful. I still to this day I'm like, how is that disrespectful?
Right. I'm a person. You're a person.
Right.
And you're hurting me.
Like I'm allowed to say it hurts.
What your logic is.
And my daughter is quick to, mommy, I don't like how you said that to me.
See, but I was that kid though. So I was like, why though?
Many ass whoopings for you.
Why?
But why? But why? Yeah. No, I was very much like if you were to know me now, I'm really like reserved in my emotions, and I don't like, you won't see those very often. But as a child, everything made me cry. I was like the most sensitive kid. Everything. Like, and
that's probably why now you hold it in, so you've been told so much that
was a
bad
problem. My family told me, all of my family used to tell, you just cry too much, you cry over everything, da da da. So I got to the point where I could not cry for years. I couldn't cry. And then when I would cry, like if I like laughed or something, my freaking eyes would burn. It was like somebody put hot sauce in my eyes. I just like this last year were able to like cry, like happy tears, sad tears. Dude, I cried today.
Like, dude, I cried.
Yeah, like it was a shock for me, and I was. The reason that I cried was like not a good reason, but I was so happy and so relieved that I was able to cry, because I knew for me that was some healing, and I was able to, like you said, what I was trying to get, like admit these emotions to myself, like allow myself to feel.
Because when you start to feel those emotions, all those things start coming back. Then you feel weak and all this. I'm like, now I schedule a cry time most of the time in the shower.
I'm not there yet. I want to
in the shower.
One of these days.
Because I would. It literally made me sick to not use my emotions, like my fucking nervous system done something. You know what I'm saying? So now,
I think that is honestly.
I try to honor them either by writing or doing something creative or other things.
But I think your nervous system, and it's just my thoughts. I think that somewhere down your lineage, you must have had like some hellified, powerful shamans or something in your family. Like for that shit to control your body the way it does, like when she doesn't practice the way according to her or like, you know, express, it's bad.
Or even if I say there, most of the time it's with my family, like my mom and my grandma. If there's a way, if I don't feel like, normally if I feel like what I'm gonna say is gonna be disrespectful, I kind of hold back. But then my body pays for it. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm even learning how to say it, but don't be disrespectful, but say it.
That was a hard part.
You know what I'm saying? So, because when it's there, when I'm angry, I don't be wanting to think about, you know what I'm saying? So imagine you having a firecracker and you done lit it and you put it inside of a damn bottle. That's my bottle, my body, and it just goes crazy. And so for the next day, I'm asleep all day because I've literally taken on all of their emotions plus the ones that I held on to, and now my body's like,
now you gotta pay for this.
Now you gotta pay.
For sure. I that was a hard one for me to learn how to speak up for because I either didn't speak up for myself or I exploded and it was fuck you.
And nobody understood.
And everybody was like, yo, what? All I said was I didn't want a lollipop. Like, why did you blow up like that? And it was because I was like holding it in for so long because I know that when I do express myself, if my feelings are hurt, it can be bad. So like a lot of times I won't, and I'll keep it to myself just for the sake of everybody else. But in the long run, not only do I still end up exploding, I freaking I have to deal with that myself. Yeah, I'm like exhausted and like my head hurts, and it's just like it's so much better to yourself to express it, even if you don't agree, if the person doesn't agree with you. You've said it in a respectful way and they've heard you, and that's it. That's your boundaries. Y'all don't have to discuss it.
You also have to know the people that you have around you. Like some people, I know a conversation is counterproductive in every way. Yeah. So that's when I'm gonna go right. That's when I'm gonna probably call you. Like, let me get this off real quick.
Hey, can you talk? Can you receive this today? Okay, cool. That's typically how we start our conversations. Can you receive? Because like, do is bad because I just need you to know
what I'm about to fire off. I need to make sure that you're in it. And that's another thing. That's when you're starting to grow up out of your stuff, making sure people around you honor those things. That's the thing about boundaries. Like, if I came to her every time, like, hey, oh yeah, how you doing?
Be exhausted.
It's exhausting, especially when I already know
friends like that.
When I already know who she is. You know what I'm saying? So you already take on everybody's energy. You already, you know what I'm saying? So for me to just come plop my stuff down on your doorstep without seeing if you can even, are you even in the place to listen?
Like, are you gonna freaking have
right? Am I gonna trigger you?
Now, the flip side of that, because she knows how I am and I know how she is, sometimes we don't tell each other, and we have to like, hey, what's going on over there? If it goes too long without one of us saying something, it's like
9 times out of 10 it's a tell.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, you normally answer in this, even if something going on. You good? Like, exactly. You could like blink.
If it's a whole day and I've texted her and I'm like, I didn't hear a response back. Or like I'll be doing something and someone will go, hey, text and see what she's up to. And then usually it's like, yo, dude, today sucked. And I'm like, I'm ready. Because at that point, I knew already. Right. I'm already braced. Let's get it. Mm-hmm. But it's a different kind of energy when you know someone. It's a genuine friendship, and you know somebody cares, and they're not just there to use you and just
suck up all.
Because I've had people do that. Mm-hmm. Literally, they just want to be around me to suck up my energy.
And like, all right, bye.
And they just pour out all of these negative energies to me, and they're like, whew, I feel better. And then meanwhile, I'm sitting over there.
like even I have to, if I'm on the phone with a client or something, I literally immediately have to go and sage myself, because 9 times out of 10, I know I'm a graphic designer, but sometimes it feels like I'm a therapist.
Yep.
Because
that's just because of somebody, who we are.
And somebody is trying to build their dream. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's different, it's new. So, hey, what we gonna do first is breathe.
Right.
Because once you get anxious, then I have to shut off, because
and I can't deal.
This
is gonna be an email conversation. And even then, sometimes in the freaking text messages, the energy is still a lot, and I have to tell them, "Yo, I'm gonna get at you tomorrow." Like, I've had people message me, and I didn't immediately respond back that day, and they're like, "Well, I didn't mean to upset you," and I'm like, "You didn't upset me. I'm just protecting my energy, and I will address when I'm comfortable with allowing you into my space. It doesn't mean I'm mad at you. Right. It doesn't mean that you upset me. You just have to respect my boundaries, and that's the name of the game. When it comes to self-love, boundaries is a big deal.
And knowing your triggers and knowing when to say when. Because sometimes we in this culture go and do. I gotta be strong for everybody. No. And then you have nothing left for yourself. I am never ever going to pour from an empty cup. That's my mantra.
You cannot.
I only pour from a full cup when I have enough to give.
An abundance of it. Like I literally have to fill my cup, and then whatever left over that's running over, then okay, let's split this. Now, by all means, I want to share. I want to be giving. I want to give love, because again, like I said, we are all an expression of each other. We are. I'm trying not to let that go left field, because this topic is self-love, but I see you as me, so I want to give to you, and it frustrates me when I want to be a nice person and people don't let me, because then I have to remember who I was, and I don't want to go into that space.
Right, and
I just want to be nice. I really genuinely want to be nice to people.
A healthy balance, and that was me, because growing up church, like anything that resembles anger is considered bad, but no, sometimes that's honoring who you are.
Yeah,
like, it's not a big fuck you. It's me honoring my boundaries, because you clearly crossed something.
Right. Done something. If people always want to do something to you and then be a victim because of how you choose to respond.
Right.
And then, like, I know they were used to, like, my ex used to tell me, well, you don't just hit back, you shoot to kill, but you can't tell me how bad you hurt me. Like, you like, oh, well, I just jabbed you and you like cut my throat. But I'm like, dude, you don't know how bad it hurt. Like I said, when I was a child, I was a very sensitive person. In my adulthood, I was still a very sensitive person. I just learned how to keep it to myself. And I learned how to, how I get my poker face got good. But it didn't mean that my feelings wasn't hurt. And the way that I responded was to lash out. And say and do very mean things, and I don't want to do that anymore, because I'm in a different place and I really genuinely want to be nice to people.
Right, and I think I finally found this healthy balance of feminine, masculine energy that feels very comfortable to me, to where I don't have to be overly anything.
Yeah, I can receive and I can give. And I feel like that in all aspects of it, when it comes to dating, when it comes to being a parent, when it comes to, because I have to understand some days when I'm sick or something, my daughter is a very giving person. Mommy, are you okay? Mommy, do you? And I had to allow myself to receive that love from her as well. Because I am her mom and I'm supposed to provide, but it's okay for her to love on me as well. And even relationships, you want to be able to give, you want to be able to receive. You don't want to do too much of either. Right. And people, and especially like in the LGBT community, they want to put you in this, well, are you the man in this relationship? No, there's feminine and masculine energy, and people tend to go more in one way or the other, but you want to balance, because especially when it comes to manifesting, you need that balance because sometimes it's time to get up and go. Sometimes it's time to sit quietly and receive. And that's that feminine energy. You have it has to be
and
that
I was
energy.
just gonna say, people get feminine and masculine energy. They see that as aggression and docileness. No, that's not what that's that worldly stuff. When we say masculine and feminine, I mean, like she said, creativity. That's feminine, and the masculine is more of the logic, the doing and going. You know what I'm saying? So.
But yes, I wish I had my tarot cards down here. And I like that the strength card is usually like, they're all different, who's doing it, but it's usually like a woman and a lion. And it's not like, even though it's the strength card, she's like quietly subduing this beast. It's not like she's beating him down. And it's the strength card. It's a very quiet, very regal, very, kind of energy. It's not like, because strength can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't have to just be brute.
Just like that, I forget the name of the martial art. The guy, he's literally standing here and he uses your energy against you. So you raging, instead of him raging, he draws your energy in and throws it back at you. Yeah. And like you like, what? You just touched my arm, but this energy that you just threw at him, he touched this part, and and your body followed, and it had whatever he does. And I'm trying to find this. It's an extension of Tai Chi and all this stuff.
It's because she lives on YouTube. She's completely always researching stuff and TikTok. Finally, that was full of teeth to get you there. But she's there now, so you go follow her. What's your TikTok?
I create
3. Yeah, I was watching 3x3. And mine is Dory Key. Roses Quartz. But no, Dory Quartz. That's what it is. Dory Quartz. I can't remember which one. My name, Dory and Keegan is my name. But Dory Quartz is my TikTok if y'all want to go follow me. Or you can go follow me on at Roses Quartz.
And mine is the same. Instagram. I create.
Yeah, I should have done that. Really cool like everybody else. I like when people say, yeah, you can find me on all these social medias at this name. And I'm like, nah, bro, give me a piece of paper.
It's a different person.
Exactly. But let's see. I think we've already addressed where people can start for self-love. Another thing, let me say, don't listen to other people. And I know when you're first starting out, it's easy to feel like, oh, well, they're the gurus or they know more than me. And that's true to a certain extent because they may, with time and putting forth energy and experience, yeah, they may know something more than you, but only you know what's right for you. Okay, so you can take everything with a grain of salt.
Some of that seems so small. Literally just the power of how you speak to yourself and how you do the things that you speak.
That's a big one.
There you go.
You can start with a book that helped me a lot. It was the 4 Agreements. Have you ever read the book? I love that book, and it helped me out so much because I didn't realize how negative I was to myself and what it did to my self-esteem. I was my own worst critic. And then to read that book and to realize that it wasn't even me, it was the little girls at school that said this to me, or my parents that said this to me. It wasn't even me, but I had received it and agreed with it, and so now it's me. Right. So if you are starting your spiritual journey and you want to start on any of it, really 4 Agreements will be a good start, but definitely self-love, I would start with the 4 Agreements if you're a book. Yeah, so you can probably find it on YouTube if you are like her. Or you can just get the book if you're like me.
Or both.
And honestly, I'm probably gonna so I'm a book hoarder and I buy all these books, and some of them I keep because I refer back to them over and over and over again. But part of my store, when it's in a larger location, there will be a book space. But I say all that to say I'm gonna start reselling my books on my website, especially the ones that I feel are beneficial. I'll put up there for you guys.
Also, there's a place where There's a PDF download of a lot of books. So if you give me your list, I'll give you the PDFs so that people can download and stuff.
Okay, cool. And we can probably link it down here at some point in our YouTube thing so they can see it too. But that that's it. I feel like we covered
final words. Go heal it. Go love yourself.
Yeah, man. Because it starts with you. It's so much easier to love everybody else when you love you. And I know everybody says that, but
not that toxic. That's too. Don't be toxic.
Don't be a narcissist.
Right. Some people go too far. But you know what? They still don't love themselves.
That's the sad part. They usually don't. They need a lot of healing as well too. Not from you. Don't try and heal narcissists. They need to work on that themselves because they are one of those things that will grab you like venom and pull you down. Don't. That is not your job. Yeah. Your job is to heal you.
So you no longer attract those things.
And then let them heal them because you can't force healing on anybody. It's just like I was trying to explain. I do Reiki, but I can't force you to receive it, or I can't just give it to you without you asking. It has to be, you have to want to receive it and be ready for healing because everybody's healing journey is different, and sometimes it's not easy, and you got to be willing to be in it because nobody has to go through
responsibility for yourself.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't like to take responsibility. So
yes, we are gonna put the books or the links down there as well as my website so you can find it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us either.
So we can start answering y'all stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So leave questions down here in our comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications. I remember that time. Right. Or you can message us on one of our social media outlets, and we'll still respond here for you if it's easier. All right, so
thank y'all for stopping by.
Right, I'm Dorian.
I'm Ziza.
We'll see you next time.